Alright, welcome to 99.7 NHK Hotline. I'm Khalid Ahmed. We got Hannah Slema and Natalie Ayed in the building today. They're going to be talking about a man that was wrongfully accused of a crime that he did not commit. So, Hannah, can you just briefly explain what happened?
Yeah, sure. So, after Richard Alexander was arrested due to 4 sexual assaults that took place during the summer of 1996 in Indiana, he was eventually charged for 3 of the assaults and convicted of 2 of them. Mitochondrial DNA testing excluded him as the assaulter in one of the crimes. He was exonerated of both of the crimes and released from prison.
How long was he in jail for?
5 years.
Alright, so Natalie, can you just briefly explain, what had happened and how he got out and everything?
Yeah, of course. After his arrest in 1996, despite that he was in prison, the assaults in South Bend, Indiana continued. There was one case that occurred after Richard Alexander's imprisonment.
So, continue.
Well, his photograph was mistakenly placed in the photo lineup, showed to the victim, and classified him as Richard Alexander. However, it was impossible for him to commit a crime due to the fact that he was in jail. Richard was charged with 4 different cases and had only been to trial for 3 of them. Biological evidence recovered in the 4th cases was subject to DNA testing, cleared him of any responsibility. DNA testing proved him to be innocent and matched the DNA to a different man's DNA, who was convicted of the crime based of the DNA's testing.
Oh, so that's good. At the end of the day, he got taken out of prison and everything was fine. That's good. I think something that had to do with all this was they used something called CODIS. Yeah. Now, CODIS basically was founded in 1990, and basically it catalog of fingerprint of certain people and everyone and everything. So it gets all its information from state level databases, so it's legit. And it's meant to analyze RFLP data and catalog it in a massive database for the United States, which we'll talk about RFLP later.
Okay. This is very successful because since it was created to October of this year, it had produced over 26,384 hits.
I think it meant 263,847.
Which has
how did you know?
Which has assisted in more than
252,272. That's actually very interesting. Disadvantages, of course, in this whole process was DNA is found at crime scene and mistaken for the suspects, like what happened with Richard Alexander, like you said.
And DNA samples are not always complete.
Oh, and also having records without consent is an issue. It's very big.
Another problem is that CODIS could easily be hacked.
Oh, so yeah, the whole database can be hacked by hackers around the world, which is something very, very common because I think it had happened before. Now we're going to be talking a little bit about STR analysis. STR analysis basically measures the exact number of repeating units. There's something else called PCR, which is used to discover the length of the short tandem repeats. Continue.
And STRs are much easier and cheaper to use.
A little. And now Natalie just going to tell us a couple things about RFLP. Natalie.
RFLP analysis stands for Restriction Fragment Polymorphism. It is a technique forensic scientists use to cut the DNA into different lengths by adding restriction enzymes. The steps on how to do RFLP is DNA samples with added restriction enzymes produce restriction fragments. Then electrophoresis separates the restriction fragments. Each sample forms a characteristic pattern of bands. Then alkaline solution is pulled upward through the gel to the sheet of nitrocellulose laid on top of it, transferring the DNA to the paper. Then the paper is exposed to a solution containing radioactively labeled probes. And then a photographic film laid on top of the paper is exposed by the radioactivity in the bond probe to form an image corresponding to the DNA bands.
Alright, and that's all for us today. I guess we'll see you guys next time, and don't forget to tune in to NHK Hotlines. Thank you, and good night.